Hey, my name is Sarah Roten, and I am an Emerald Ambassador with Plexus Worldwide. And today I just want to share my story. I talk about it a lot with my team and even with my sister, and I just felt like it was time to share it with more people than I have. So I joined in December of 2013. I joined under my sister. I didn't talk to her about it, didn't ask her any questions. I had seen her post a few things. Initially scrolling past it, I wasn't interested in losing weight. That wasn't an issue that I was having in my life. And so I just kept scrolling. And then she started talking about gut health, something that I had struggled with my entire life. Then she started talking about some other health issues that people were seeing some relief from. And I thought, heck, I'm willing to try anything. So in December of 2013, I was laying in bed. It was really late at night. And I was like, what the heck? It's a reasonable price. I've done plenty of MLMs in the past, and they've all been super expensive. This is completely financially reasonable for me. So I did. I joined, and the next day I get a call from her, and she's like, did you join my Plexus team? And I was like, I guess. I mean, this is what I did. And she was like, oh my gosh, you're my first ambassador. And I was like, awesome. I don't, neither one of us really knew what it meant, but we were super excited. And so I was like, well, if we're going to do it, let's go big or go home. So we got competitive with each other, which was fun competition, having fun with each other and just seeing what we could do. About 48 hours in, I went silver. I was so excited to get my family and friends joining me, and I had several people join that month. I was almost gold by the end of my first 30 days. The funny thing about that is that I didn't receive my product until the very end of the month. It was a really fun promotion that month for those who were in the company back then. It was a really fun promotion, and so they were backed up, and I hadn't gotten any product, and I was like, I don't even know what to do. I've never even tried this stuff. I know I'm super excited about it, but I've never tried it. And so a friend, now a friend, local ambassador, brought over just a little bit of product so I could try it and see how I liked it. So I started taking it about 3 weeks into my Plexus journey, and at that time had a pretty good group of people. I was listening to different training videos. There weren't a lot of them out there. Actually, it wasn't even videos, it was calls. So I remember getting on and listening. Andrea and I both listened in on a call that Rosalind did, and just talking about the comp plan, talking about the opportunities, talking about the products and the things that the company was doing. And I was like, yes, sign us up. I was super excited. So fast track a little further into my journey, every other month I promoted until May. I went Ruby at Convention in Dallas in 2014 and came home 2 weeks later, and much to my devastation, started the process of a divorce and really had to step back from building a business. I had no idea how to manage being a stay-at-home, homeschooling mom, going through a divorce. I had no idea what that all would entail or how that was going to go about, and run a business at the same time. I had no idea how to manage all of that. And so I really took a step back from the business, hoping and praying that I had built it enough that it would kind of just stay steady until I could get my feet wet again with it. Huge mistake. I wish I had stuck with it, because I feel like I let so many people down, including my team at the time. But I did at the time what I thought was best for myself and my family. And so in the fall, I was devastated, had to sell our beautiful home and move into a completely different area than I have ever lived in or was used to at all. It was completely out of my comfort zone, but it was all I could afford. And I was like, this is just what we're going to have to do until we can figure it out. Had a little bit of money to survive on for a while, but knew it was going to come to an end. Got a part-time job, making very little, knowing that there was no way I was going to survive on that. I got sick and ended up having to let that job go because I was sick in the meantime. I wasn't consistently taking my products. I just couldn't afford it. I couldn't afford anything at the time. We were going through stages of having to decide, do we pay the light bill? Do we pay the water bill? I finally, my sister and brother-in-law were so gracious to help us just keep a roof over our head for several months while we struggled to figure out what to do. I was looking for a job. I live in the oil capital of the United States, and they had just done massive layoffs here. Finding a job was near to impossible. I was trying, and it just wasn't working. And so I was like, I called my sister just bawling and was like, I have to make this work. Plexus has to be my answer. I have to take my business back over. And so she said, let's do it. And we did. And it was super exciting. So from December when I made that decision till April of 2015, I went senior Ruby. Our team built. Our team, thank God, held together during that horrible experience. My divorce was final. I was ready to move forward with my life, and just busted hiney to get there. I felt like I had to prove myself to a lot of people, including my team, regaining trust, rebuilding people I had lost in the process, rebuilding relationships with customers that I had not been following up with, and lost some, gained some back, and gained some new ones, and pressed forward and said, you know what, we're going to do this. I was so excited in November. My birthday was the 17th. Just a week and a half later, I was so excited to go Emerald. Did it on FaceTime with my sister. It was super, super fun. But really, it was so much more than that. It was the first time that I felt like I could provide for my kids. I had fought such a battle for so long for financial freedom. We were in an enormous amount of debt at that point. I wasn't really sure, even going Emerald, I was ever going to get out of it. And you know, I'm 6 months in as an Emerald ambassador. We are finally debt-free and caught up on all of our bills and expenses and preparing for the next stages in our life and to move into a new home and whatnot. But really, I think the thing that was the life-changing opportunity for me was just having some freedom. I didn't have a car. I lost that in my divorce. And so I was sharing a car with my mom, who was staying home to help me homeschool with my kids while I could get my business going again. And having a car that was my own, that was something that I had worked hard and been able to earn, and you know, didn't have to worry about that anymore. So I had a vehicle. I was able to pay for things. I remember my first Emerald check, not only being able to cover my expenses, but pay down some of my debt, and each month being able to pay more and more down until just a couple of months ago when I was finally like, oh my gosh, we can finally start saving some money and doing things that we've so desperately wanted to do. And it's just an exciting time. It's an exciting moment. And the one thing that I just shared with my team recently that I want to share with so many is that, you know, there was a point where I thought, I'll just never get there. I'm not meant to be there. I'm not that person. All these people that I see as jewels, I see them as these people who are so inspiring and so driven, and so they're people who just draw people in, and I never saw myself as that. And it wasn't until about 3 weeks ago when I was in Scottsdale, Arizona at corporate, we were going through some jewel training, and I, for the first time, felt like I was a jewel, like I had earned the position that I was being given. And I felt like I was finally like, I am a leader, and I am so many of these things that I see. I might be them differently, but I am these things. And it was really the most moving and touching moment for me. It was one of the few times, not that I don't love my sister, but it was one of the few times where I was Sarah Roten, an Emerald ambassador, not Sarah Roten, Andrea Mitchell's sister. And while that is such an honor and an amazing title to have, and I love her more than life itself, I finally found my own feet, and I finally felt as though I had really earned that position. And it just was the most exciting thing. And that, to me, was probably the most life-changing opportunity and part of my entire journey, was finally finding me in the process, and finding who I am and who I am as a leader, and who I am as a woman. And that to me was priceless. So now I'm a mom, I'm an Emerald Ambassador. We are moving up in our lives, and definitely back on product and feeling amazing. But I feel like this is not only a life-changing opportunity financially, but emotionally, spiritually, in every way, shape, or form. I feel like it has transformed me from the inside out, both with product and with the opportunity. So thank you guys for taking a minute to hear my story, and I hope that if it does nothing, it might just give you a little bit of inspiration.